what's up everybody? Welcome back. Brandon with Campbell Fitness. I have a few minutes today, so I wanted to try to do one of these car vlogs. Hopefully you guys like this video. It's going to be a little bit less formal, but if you don't like it, as always, I'm open to suggestions, so just let me know what you think about it. So for this video, what I want to do is I want to talk about muscle contractions. It's been something on my mind lately, especially because recently putting up some of these workout videos, I've gotten some comments about my form and controlling the weight, and I think this is something important to talk about. So the three muscle contractions we're going to talk about in brief are concentric, eccentric, and isometric. I want to focus more on the eccentric portion, but just so we know what all three are, I want to mention it. So concentric portion would be, let's say we're doing a barbell curl and we're bringing the bar up or curling the bar up and shortening our muscles. That's the concentric portion of the lift. The opposite of that, which would be the eccentric, is the lengthening of the muscles or lowering the weight back down. An isometric example would be, let's say we curl the bar halfway up and hold the tension on our muscles there for a static hold for a few seconds. I want to focus on the eccentric, as I mentioned, because I think this is an area which a lot of us don't pay enough attention to. So for this, I see it all the time in the gym, and I've been guilty of this too, especially when I first started lifting, is I really only focused on the explosive portion of the movement or the concentric part of it. So like, for example, bench press, just throwing the weight up. Oftentimes what happens is we neglect the eccentric part or the lowering of it or controlling the weight, and especially on bench press people do this. They let that bar drop so quick, almost to the point in some cases where people bounce it off their chest, which is definitely a no-no if you like your sternum, and they use that momentum again to focus on the concentric part and the push and the power. While in our mind we don't really focus on the eccentric part because we think, this is going to take away from my pushing, it's going to tire me out, fatigue me. That is true. But when you look at lifts in general, it's made up 50-50% between concentric and eccentric. They're both equally important. And you'll hear this really pushed a lot these days as time under tension. So you've heard before probably the key to growth is, progressive weights. A lot of people have then taken that and said progressive overload as far as tension goes. And it's really important. The eccentric part of that motion, again, is 50% of the lift. And if you're not really controlling the weight or focusing on slowly lowering it and controlling it down, you could potentially be missing out on 50% of your potential progress. So again, it's often easy to see when people do this because there's no real motion to what they're doing. And it's a hard thing to do, and oftentimes it keeps people honest. And I think this is another reason why people tend to stay away from it. Because if you're controlling the weight not only on the concentric portion, but also on the eccentric portion, it's really going to limit the amount of weight you can use. So you'll notice a lot of times when I film my own workouts, as I mentioned already, I try to control the weight. I really try to focus on form. I do this for a couple of reasons. Obviously, having good form is going to help in the long run with being healthy and not risking injury. Not to mention you can kind of make sure that you're fully stimulating the muscles that you want to stimulate. And we'll talk about mind-muscle connection in another one of these videos probably. But I really try to focus on the negative portion recently, only because, I've been working out for a long time, and for a long time I only really focused on the concentric part, and I really honestly believe that this has hindered my gains. I think I could probably be further ahead now if I focused on the negative portions as well, and that's why I'm doing this video, to help you guys out there, because it could be something that's really hindering you as well. So if you're stuck in a plateau or you haven't made as much progress as you want to see, this could definitely be something to focus on. But again, it's going to keep you honest, and a lot of people don't like having to drop the weight in order to make sure that they control it. What they'd much rather do is have a lot heavier weight, feeling good ego-wise, but actually muscle stimulation-wise, it's not as beneficial as, again, controlling the weight. So that's why I like to film myself. It keeps myself honest, especially if I know that I'm going to be posting it on YouTube and you guys are going to be watching. I know I'm going to get critiqued, I'm going to get comments, I'm going to get trolled. I'm definitely okay with that. Troll is going to troll, hate is going to hate, but it's just part of the game. But, I take that criticism, even sometimes as funny or as invalid as I think it might be, and I really take that to heart, and I make sure the next time I go out that I really focus on those areas. And not only from the comments that you guys leave me, but also just me seeing it in general. So before I started actually filming my workouts, I thought in my mind that I had really good form, I had really good weight control, and I thought, I was doing everything I was supposed to do. And then I started filming some of my videos, and I was editing it, and I was taking a look, and I was like, damn, my form, it's not great, especially on pull-ups. Pull-ups is something that, I thought I was really good at. I could bang out 30 pull-ups in a set, and I thought, dude, I am good at fucking pull-ups. But then I started filming some of my pull-ups, and I was half rep city. It was just bad. Bad to the point where I almost got skeptical about putting videos up. I was like, I can't show these to people. They're that bad. But again, I kind of bit the bullet and put it up because it's going to keep me honest, and it's going to make sure that going forward, it's going to be something I'm really going to focus on. Because if I'm putting it out for you guys to see, and I see some of you guys that are just starting out your YouTube channels or just posting workout videos, I know how hard it can be. You get random comments from people you don't know, and you're asking, you know, does this dude even lift? And he's telling me what to do. But it's good. Constructive criticism is always beneficial. That's why I don't mind putting out these workout videos. Sometimes you guys agree with me. You say, oh, you know, your form looks good. Other times you say it looks bad. But it doesn't really bother me either way because I know I'm my own worst critic. And no matter what you say how bad it is, I'm probably thinking it's even worse. So it's good for me to hear, you know, real positive comments. It's also good for me to hear negative comments just because it helps me in the long run. That's what this is all about. Lifting should be about your own personal progression and not necessarily the amount of weight you can push, unless, of course, you're a power lifter. But again, it's relative to you, your size, your weight, your training. So I always try to focus internally on myself with this. It's very selfish to say, but that's the way to see progress in my opinion. And we'll talk about it later because I'm starting to get off topic. But getting back on topic, actual contraction of the muscles. If you're not really focusing on the eccentric movements right now, definitely do it. I think you'll find it's going to help overall in your gains. And although initially you might not be able to use as much weight, when you go back to just focusing maybe on the concentric only, you'll find that it helps a lot with power output as well. So, hope you like this video. Let me know what you think. And as always, stay big.